You just hold on to your dream. God will do the rest. And this has been a dream of mine for years, to go back to Venice Beach where I started and to do a 1-hour concert right there on the beach. Very excited about that. Almost excited as our next guest. Having her on this show every time is a joy and a pleasure. Michael talked about comedy was his woman. Homegirl jumped in and said, I'll have a long-term relationship with you. So why don't we get to the relationship expert, the fabulous, the wonderful Mylira Green.
Good morning.
Whoa. Hey, there you are. How you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Man, I'm so good. I'm excited. I probably need more rest because I just go and go and go. And then I'm hooked on NYPD Blue, you know? And so it's 21 seasons. So I'll be sitting on the bed late at night. I'm like, I'm going to bed right after this episode. And then Sipowitz will do something else. I'm like, oh, man, I got to go one more episode. Now, next thing I know, it's time to come do the show. It's good to see you today. Thank you.
You as well. My pleasure. I know today we want to do a really brief follow-up from last week where we were talking about the love languages, and we do have some relationship questions from people. So I want to make sure we get to that in a moment.
Let me first welcome you because this is your new day. From now on, every Thursday, Mylira will be here with relationship information and relationship help. Because you need some help. All right, go ahead. What you got?
Awesome. So last week we talked about the importance of the male's mental health when it comes to relationships, and it brought up the conversation about love languages. So when we're looking at the 5 love languages, we have to understand that Dr. Gary Chapman coined this to help us actually understand how to love one another. You can have your significant other showing you every day that they love you, but if they don't speak it in your language, it can feel like there's no love there. So there's 5 specific love language from Dr. Gary Chapman. He's the one that coined it. And the first one is words of affirmations. So this is someone who needs their significant other to encourage them, affirm them, appreciate them, empathize with them, listen to them carefully, and literally be active with their words. So for this type of person, if they need words of affirmation, your presence will mean absolutely nothing. If you don't tell them how much you love them, if you don't tell them how much you need them. So that is that form. So if you are someone who needs to hear that, then you're probably words of affirmation.
So when you say these 5, each one, I'm going to let you know whether personally I can relate to them or not. Definitely, I do that one. Me and Sonia, we affirm our love to each other. I mean, all day, all day. As a matter of fact, she might call in the middle of the show just to tell me she loves me. And I just, it means everything to hear it, to have that affirmation. All right, go ahead. What's number 2?
Yeah, so number 2 would be physical touch. So when people hear physical touch, they automatically go to sexual, but sometimes it's about the nonverbal use of your body language to express how you love and how you affect with that person. So how would you know that your significant other is physical touch? It may look like, you know how sometimes they used to call it PDA? So that person that want to hold your hand when you're walking, that person that wants to hug on you. You know, I'm the person that will throw my feet on my husband in a quick second. But you physically need to feel that person's presence, and it's not always just sexual, but at the time is I need to actually feel you in my space. So that's physical touch.
See, Sonia won't let my hand go. She will. Sometimes I have to pull it back because I need to turn the car with. She just be. I love that we always try to touch each other. That's how I know this is so good. All right, go ahead.
Yes, the next one is acts of service. So this one is a little special because this is outside of someone actually telling you they love you, being in your presence, but this is someone that is helping and showing love through their actions and through active efforts. So what does this look like? This looks like if you know I had a long day and I couldn't stop at the gas station to put gas in my car. When I wake up the next morning, the gas is full because you went to take that off my plate. This is for someone who wants for their loved one to take the pressure off of them. So, you know, maybe wash the dishes, go pick the kids up from school if you're normally that other one. So someone who loves acts of service, they are looking at the doing side of what their significant other is actually doing. And it's not just providing money, but it's what are you taking off of my plate to make my life a little bit easier?
I like that gas thing. you know, to fill up the gas, or like
Mm-hmm.
maybe one day you jump in and do the laundry. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows it's got to be done. Imagine how she feels when she come back home from work or wherever she had to, and the laundry is done. And that task ain't there. Ooh, that's showing. Okay, yeah, that's definitely showing love. All right, go ahead.
Now you have quality time. So quality time in today's time can be very difficult because a lot of us always have some type of technology in our hands, or we may have our kids that may have our energy, but someone who needs quality time that is uninterrupted. Let me repeat that. Uninterrupted. And focus quality time with conversations and direct engagement. So I can be in your presence, but if I am not giving you my entire attention, then I'm not going to feel like you love me. So for example, not even romantically, my daughter, she's 7. And if I am spending time with her, even if I don't want to watch what she's watching, if I pick up my phone, she automatically goes off. She's like, Mommy, what are you doing? Because for her, the way I show her I love her is when I have nothing else in competition with her.
You ain't the phone. You ain't grabbing the phone.
Nope.
Every time the phone ring, you get. I gotta get that. I just be a minute, baby. I can't. No, you just say, man, let that thing ring, baby. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then the last one, as far as from Dr. Gary, is gifts, receiving gifts. And these are thoughtful gifts, whether it's material or otherwise. But I want to show my partner that you are a priority. So this is that person that when they walk in the house, they want to see that bouquet of flowers. They want to get a card. They want to get that watch. It's looking at the gifts that you took the time without me telling you what I want. Now, if you ever have to ask a person who loves to receive gifts what they want, they automatically go off because they think you don't know them. They like the element of surprise. So I want this thing. And like I said last week, your love language comes from 2 different places. It comes from, number 1, what you received growing up. And if it made you feel fulfilled and it made you feel good, you tend to replicate that in your relationships. But if you were missing something, then you tend to try to get it filled by that person that you are in relationship with. So if we're talking about this giving gifts, if your parents always gave you gifts, but their presence was there, 9 out of 10, it was a good feeling. So you want to continue that. Or if your parent was not present because of their work life or whatever, but you always got the best gift for your birthday, you got a car, you got a house, you got all these great things, but their presence wasn't there and you missed that, you may not want your significant other to buy you any gifts. So we have to know where those love languages are coming from. And then there's actually 2 new ones that they just put up here, which was one, shared experiences. And then the other one is emotional security. For people presence is not enough. I need to know that you are here to protect me and be with me emotionally. And I need to know that you're going to come alongside me and share my life's experience. So when we're talking about the 5 love languages, which is receiving gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and then quality time, and then we add the share experience and we add the emotional security, that is a recipe of a positive relationship. But after you know what your love language is and what your significant other love language is, and lower some of this pride and start to speak their language so you can really be able to have healthy relationships.
That's awesome. I really love one of the elements, the element of knowledge. Given a gift that shows you know what she likes. You know, my producing partner, Malika Blessing, loves crabs. I don't care where we go. If it's a crab shack, if it's a crab restaurant, that's her thing. So if she done something really good on the show or did something that I want to really reward her, I know I can send her over to the crab shack. And she gonna love it, not just cause it's a gift, but it's a gift of something that I know she likes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to think of what things can I do for my baby? What can I do to surprise her? What gifts can I? I also think in relationship, you're supposed to try to outgive each other, try to outlove each other. I'll give you the way. Well, you did that way, I do this. You know, that kind of thing. That kind of playfulness of love is another thing that I think expands your hearts and connects you. You know,
Absolutely.
So okay. So do we look for questions now?
Yes, we're going to get into some questions. I want to thank each person that was present each week, and we are here now on Thursdays. So if you have any questions, make sure you put them up. And I know Cletus has some, and we're going to jump into them once I see them on the screen.
Okay.
Well, we already sent them to you, so go ahead. We know it. It came in earlier. We was
Gotcha.
behind the
I
scenes
got some
talking about
early. So the first question that someone had asked was, how do you feel about two people in a relationship who are not equally yoked? When it comes to not being equally yoked, you have to know what that definition is. Sometimes we make it religious, but sometimes it's not religious. It could be, do you guys have the same parenting style? Do you guys have the same financial freedom and financial knowledge? Like it's bigger than just being this religious antidote of two eggs that got the same yolk. We don't want that mentality because every person's going to come in with different knowledge. What I would say is at that time is you need to understand with going into a relationship that you create what is called a monogamy agreement. When you're creating a monogamy agreement, it should be renewed every year, just like you renew your driver's license. You want to ask that person, what is my goal? And not just the things that I will tell you verbally, but also the expectations that I have in my mind. So then I can know how equally yoked we are. You may start with somebody with the same exact mindset as you, but 10 years down the line, because of life experiences and things like that, their values may have shifted and changed. So you want to sit down with that person continuously and renew that agreement so that you guys can have a successful relationship. So again, you need to understand what is your definition of equally yoked. And if it's just religious, we need to expand that. We need to talk about how we're going to parent, how we're going to build our finances. What is our dream? Where do we want to go? Do we want to retire together? What does that look like? And really being able to have that open dialogue prior to saying I do, prior to having that commitment. Because if you have it prior to, there is no like, wait, you like that? You sure you like that? Because we've already had that conversation already.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's good. That's good. I know one of the things that Sonia and I had talked about early is that we feel like we're evenly yoked. We like the same type of energy. We both have drive. We both are building our empires. We both love love. We love physical love as well as just speaking love to each other. Yeah. We love those. We have these same goals. We both want to lift each other. So yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good. I
would say what you just shared is so imperative that the things that you listed wasn't necessarily tangible. Your equally yoked is not going to be tangible, materialistic things. It's going to be the soul things, the thing that energizes you, the goals that you have, your dreams, your purpose, your desire. So as you're talking about you and Sonia, that's what makes you guys equally yoked is the inside of who you are, not worldly standards of how other people define relationships or what different entities define relationships, but we're going towards the same energetic space, which is what makes it work.
Nice. All right. You have the next question?
I sure do. The next question I had is it important to have expectations for a relationship, or should you let the person show you who they are and decide if it works for you or not? When it comes to relationships, y'all, communication is going to be your best friend. And if you start off a relationship hiding parts of you, you're going to maintain that relationship hiding parts of you, which is going to open up the door for what I call distractions, whether that's other people, places, or things. So it's not about not having expectations, but it's more about how can I accept this person that is now in my space? And I think we talked about this at one of the earlier relationship segments where we said, don't force a relationship to happen. If you are going into a conversation with someone and you have these expectations in your mind, 9 out of 10, that's not your person. It's normally that person that you ran into and you had no intentions of having a relationship with them, that it morphs into other things. So then those expectations don't become the number one priority. What becomes the number one priority is, who is this person? What do they bring to the table? What's their likes and their dislikes? Because when I meet a friend, that's a different mindset than when I meet somebody I want to be romantically with, because then I'm gonna hit them with all the 21 questions. What's your credit score? What's your, what degree you got? What you gonna do in the future? Instead, when I meet a friend, fun becomes the first thing. Experience becomes the first thing. And then as we build that, now I get to redefine what my expectations are based off of how this person presents themselves.
Wow. So how important is it to be friends in the first place before you become romantic?
It is so imperative. The thing that has kept my marriage alive for 9 years is the fact that my husband is simply my best friend. There are moments where wife is completely hurt, where I have questions that I don't have the answers to, where I don't always get it right. But as best friend, that makes me say, hey, how can I go and walk alongside him to get through this challenge? Or he may say, how can I show up for Mylira right now to make sure that she know I see her not just as my wife or as the mother of my children, but I see her as a female, as a woman that is successful. When you are friends with somebody, it really helps extend. There's this thought, and it kind of goes to the last question here. So I'm going to put it all together, which is, can a relationship work if there's no sexual chemistry in the beginning? I talked a little bit about this. There's two components to a relationship, and this is coined by Dr. Tammy Nelson. And she says there's the companion part, and then it's the erotic part, right? So when it comes to the companion part, that is the friendship. That is the who walks the dog, who take care of the kids, who pays the bills, all the things that we normally focus on in marriages, how to make it function, the best friend part. But then the erotic side that's the passion, that's the pleasure, that's the excitement, that's the fantasy, that side. So if you're not dead, you have that space. And what she said was, if you are only looking for your significant other to make you feel safe, then you can have that with a family member or a friend. It's about building something trusting. That safety has to come from within, but it's a trusting factor where I get to trust who you are. You can't build that trust if you're not friends first. You can't be sexually intimate until there's a connection there that makes me say, you know what, I can trust this person where I can go and extend the lines. I can go and push. I can go and seek out my fantasies, but I have to trust you first to even get there. So sometimes we focus on the wrong things. It starts with friendships. Get to know people, love languages, because when you start to speak their love languages, then you'll begin to actually allow for your significant other to feel special, and do it your way. Create your agreement based off of what you and your spouse deem to be appropriate for both of you and not just one of you.
Well, I have been doing it wrong for years. That's all I can say. I mean, because every time I see a woman, my first attraction is the sexual attraction. I've always objectified women. In fact, until I met Sonia, I've always objectified women. And even when I was with another woman, I would objectify the passing woman. Oh, look at that booty. Look at what she, I wonder what she do. In my mind, I'm objectifying. Now, the way that I love Sonia, I wouldn't care what anybody else looks like. All I could think of is Sonia. But I've always, in all the relationships, first thing I look at is, oh, I wonder what she does. You know, I'm always thinking sexually first. Then I get into a relationship and hope that it works out. Yeah. So that sexual component is there and hope that all other stuff works out around it. But I think it's different when you come for a heart first, when you come for a friendship first, you know? Yes. And so that's why we are friends, man. And so now we feel like we can conquer anything together because we're on the same page. We're on the same team. We shoulder to shoulder, you know? So, yeah.
But we have to understand, you can have sex with anybody, but you can't trust everybody.
That's right. So
you can have these thoughts that come in your mind. That's natural. But if you can't get to a point where you can trust a person, that is what's going to keep your relationship maintained and going on forever. So you can have whatever thoughts, but you got to build that trust first. And that's normally built through a friendship.
Straya, do you have a question, a relationship question?
Oh, no, I should have a man after this. That's it. After yesterday, I should have a man after this, baby. I mean, I took notes. I got excited. I was dancing. I should have a man after this, Mylira.
He's a relationship expert, not a miracle expert.
Oh my God. Well, Mylira, I love it. I love you. I thank you so much. Can we throw Mylira's page up? Let's let that scroll up and you tell people how they can find you.
Yes, you can find me at www.myliratransforms.com. I'm on Instagram as Mylira Transforms, and I'm the only person, from my knowledge, on Facebook that is Mylira Green. And again, I always give my number because I never want anybody to think that they have to do this on their own. So give me a call or text me at 757-609-0694. And if you are at a space where you're like, I'm ready to really move on, I want a relationship, it starts with you first. So if you would like to do that, I do have my Metamorphosis experience, which walks you through 8 weeks of uncovering who you are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your personality is, who you are in a relationship, who you are as a parent, who you are as a worker. Because once you know who you are, you want two wholes to come together.
Two
Not
what?
holes. Holes. Like whole numbers. You want two whole people to come
with
together.
W. With a W.
With a W. To make a successful relationship. So if you don't know who you are all the way, your relationship is not going to be as effective as it possibly can. So I am here. I thank you, Mr. Coylar, my friend. I am so excited for you and Sonia. I was there when, well, not there when you met her, but I saw the progression of the relationship. So congratulations in advance. And I just appreciate being here every Thursday now.
Let me tell you, your energy had a lot to do with it as well. Because when I met you, I was going through something with somebody that I was trying to be with. And I was talking to you, and you would get my mindset, and the other person I thought was just deteriorating. It was a bullet that I definitely dodged. And it was during that time I was starting to feel better about myself. I was getting more balanced. And then Sonia walked in. So you are a very vital part of my life. And I really appreciate you and what you bring to the table. Tell them one more time what all them letters mean.
So I am a licensed clinical social worker who specializes as a certified complex trauma professional, because I'm here to give a voice to people who have experienced trauma so that you're not misdiagnosed, mismedicated, and unheard or unseen. Because when I die, suicide is going to die with me. And that's why I do everything I do every single day.
I love you. I appreciate you so much. God bless you. Leave us with a woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo.
Hey, y'all, we got to go to prayer right now. And that was Mylira Green with relationship advice. She's going to be here every Thursday. So on Thursday, if you know Thursday coming, get your questions ready because she has some real good answers.